So when I don't have anything pressing to talk about in here, I like to riff on themes that come up in here. Seems like fun to me. Root canals. Now, I remember my first root canal. Why do I remember my first root canal? Well, I happen to have loved my dentist. Why did I love my dentist? Because he was my father. And at about the age of 12, I started to get a toothache. I think it was down here somewhere. And he said, well, let's see. Let's try to get through the night with it. But I couldn't get through the night. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, we had to go down to the office. In those days, his office was on the ground floor of a 3-story house with the living room and dining room and kitchen in the middle and the bedrooms on the top. So about 3 in the morning, we went down to his chair. And he did the root canal. General dentists did root canals in those days. Now I get my root canals with specialists, but some do it still. But anyway, I still remember that night. Fun to remember my dad being alive. Shyness. I was trying to think if there's ever been a single man in my entire life that I was shy around. There must have been somewhere, but I couldn't think of a one. I was shy around women, girls first. There was a girl in Latin class in high school when I was a freshman. We all took Latin in my day. In fact, it was my favorite subject. This girl had the same last name as me. She looked like Elizabeth Taylor, except I thought she was prettier. Could I bring myself to talk to her? No. She sat right in front of me because the teacher alphabetized us, and she sat right in front of me. Joanne. One day I was sitting at lunch out in the, where was I? On the stairs somewhere in one of the doorways to the building, the high school building. And 3 or 4 or 5 of her friends came around me and they said, Joanne has a crush on you. Could I talk to Joanne after that? No. I was crazy about her. Freshman year in high school. And my father got drafted into the Air Force. He had missed World War II. He was just about to go into World War II, and the war ended. And so he was eligible when Korea came. We had a draft. And so off we went to a place called Waco, Texas, which in those days nobody heard of. Those whole 2 years I was gone, I thought about this girl, Joanne. And when I got back for my senior year of high school, can you imagine? I'm a freshman and a senior in New Jersey, and a sophomore and a junior in Texas. A very strange thing to do. All the kids had grown up and changed in between. And I looked for her everywhere. Where was she? She wasn't in this class, and she wasn't in that class, and she wasn't in anywhere. And it turned out she had transferred to a private school. Oh, I was brokenhearted. I'd been thinking about it for 2 years. It's a very strange thing to be a freshman and a senior in a high school and miss those 2 years in between. A lot of things change. The shyest boy in my class was now talking to all the prettiest girls. I wondered what his secret was. One of the prettiest girls in school, who I didn't recognize at first, had been one of the homeliest girls in school. And I didn't recognize her at first because she had had a nose job in between. A huge nose shrunk to a little nose made her gorgeous. But kids had grown organically and naturally from freshmen to seniors, and I had missed all that. I had been in Waco, Texas, living on an Air Force base and getting bused to a high school. Kids kids didn't dance because they were Methodists or Baptists. I forget which of the two didn't dance, but they didn't dance. You weren't allowed to dance. So there wasn't much dancing going on. And I didn't have much social life with the kids in the school because I got bused back 10 miles away to the Air Force Base every day. So it was very strange to come back to New Jersey and see these kids who had grown up in the meantime. I've already spoken in here, I think more than once, about the young woman in Paris in the window who I could not bring myself to say hello to. I'm sitting in Paris waiting to get some working papers to go back to London and work for a film studio there. And I come down to the street one day and I walk by a window and I look in and there is this gorgeous blonde woman. And she makes eye contact with me and I make eye contact with her. And there was something that happened there beyond beauty that I just sensed that this was a person I wanted to meet. And yet I could not bring myself to say hello to this woman. I was there about 2 weeks. And every day I walked past that window and looked in there. We made eye contact, and every day I did not say hello to her. After that, I began to say hello to women that I was attracted to by forcing myself to do it. I remember one time going up to somebody, and my hand was shaking so much I had a wine glass in it, and wine was spilling all over the floor. But I got the date. I think she was probably amused. That's it.